Talk Live.
Welcome. It is episode number 4 of the Free Talk Cast, the Free Talk Live podcast. It's actually going to be debuting to you as episode number 3 because episode number 3 is currently locked on my server, completely air-gapped, doesn't even have a power cable connected to it right now because I'm in the process of moving into a different house at the moment. And that was part of the process of doing that while also going to Porcfest. I fully intended to get the audio onto a flash drive so that I could edit it here the first night of Porcfest.
You just don't like Richie Rich.
No, I love that episode. The episode was absolutely fantastic. But the result of that is that this is episode 3, and that's going to be episode 4.
I'm interested. I've never heard a not solo cast, but a dual cast, just you and Richie Rich of anything.
And all we did was talk about cops. So, that's Richie Rich's area of expertise.
Oh, are you allowed to say that you like killing, or like the idea of killing cops on this podcast?
He was indeed. And it was a bit more nuanced than that. And that's why I'm really glad that I wasn't on the show with him that night, that it was Mark, Melanie, and Richie Rich. And Mark got overwhelmed because they had said something to the effect of it not being morally wrong to shoot cops on sight.
It really sucks because I looked for that episode and listened to it right before Ian's trial because I was like, maybe this will be like good evidence of Melanie's character. But she so carefully put everything she said. You knew exactly what she was saying, but it wouldn't have like convinced a jury she was a bad person because she's just like, she's stupid but smart enough to do things like that way.
I have not listened to that episode, but it made a lot of waves, and the result of that is that now when Richie Rich is on Free Talk Live, he's very comedic, he's very comical, and he tends to take the thing very lightly. He's like, look, if I'm going to get in trouble for talking about serious topics, then I'm going to keep it very light. And that's how Sunday ended up sort of becoming the zanier kind of show. Because he comes in with silly show prep because he wants to keep it silly so that he doesn't get in trouble again. Which, like, obviously we appreciate, but it sucks that it's in that situation in the first place. But on the podcast, yes, he was able to say whatever he wanted.
I didn't know that was all him because, like, I do Sundays now, and I was saying, like, sorry that none of this has been, like, any kind of serious news. It's all been, like, kind of funny and cultural and stuff. And he was like, no, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know how Sundays really became that way, but I suspect he played a really large role in it because I used to do Sundays shortly after the FBI raid, I believe. I don't remember the exact schedule, but I do remember used to being on Sundays, and the show was very different when he was on. But every person who comes to the show brings their own energy, and that makes it entertaining for different reasons. So check out that at freetalklive.com. That's the place you can go to listen to the radio show.
One more thing about Richie Rich that I like about him and his episodes is he doesn't just agree with people. In fact, he might even just disagree for the conversation.
On the subject of disagreeing, though, we've been wanting to talk about artificial intelligence for a few weeks now, but it's not something that we can talk about on Free Talk Live. Luckily, the podcast is not beholden to the FCC, so we can talk about these things because the Google AI in particular seems to be making some questionable assessments and suggesting bad advice to people. Bonnie, you brought in the first thing that really came to my attention about this. Actually, I saw a meme about it a few weeks ago that wasn't really that bad. I mean, it was bad because the question was, is it okay to leave your dog in the car on a hot summer day? And Google's answer was, yes, this would be totally fine for up to 2 hours or some kind of craziness like that. Like, no, people, do not leave your pets in the car on a hot day.
Like windows rolled up and everything. Even with them down, it starts to get hot on a day like as hot as it is today.
Yeah, I would not leave a pet in a car at all today. I mean, even out here in the outside, it's a bit hot. Luckily, it is going to thunderstorm, and that's going to cool things off, but it's also going to involve a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I end up seeing from artificial intelligence. People, when I went to prison, some of them had very high expectations for AI. They were like, man, just imagine where AI is going to be at when you get out. And from what I can tell, AI hasn't really changed at all. The art may have gotten a little bit better. and it's certainly better with text at this point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And there are music generation AIs now that create terrible. I've listened to some of this AI music, and obviously I'm not overly impressed with it. But that's because I'm a musician, and the AI tends to err on the side of caution. And the ones that I played with couldn't understand the commands that I was trying to give it. Like, I wanted to hear Stairway to Heaven, but done by the band Disturbed. And it did not understand that at all. So maybe...
Was that before you went to prison?
No, this was after I went to prison. The ones before I went to prison were extremely complicated. Ian and I looked into them one night, but you had to basically build the bot yourself and then feed it samples. It was ultimately not worth it to pursue. So AI has changed a lot. But the sort of science fiction takeover that a lot of people seem to expect as over the last year doesn't seem to have happened. And some of these AIs are just laughably bad.
I'm actually pretty happy because what has happened is there hasn't been a sudden AI overlord takeover in the last year. If anything, I really feel like it might be possible that they're too stupid to ever do that. But one thing about it, this specific one, this AI... it's called an AI overview. It's not the same as Gemini, even though it might use the same technology.
So who are these from? Is this from Google?
It's Google. Google's own AI. They also do Gemini, but I'm not sure that this is called Gemini. It's called the AI overview. When you Google search something, not every time, but sometimes before all of your actual search results, it will appear a little box. It's a different color and it says AI overview, and it will give you the answer. Sometimes it's really helpful, like you didn't have to go searching through articles, and you get like basically like a summary of the answer of the question you're looking for. But the problem they alleged that Google was like, so the problem was we fed it like almost the entire internet, right? Well, that includes Reddit. So
why would they do that? They have to look. The last time someone fed a chatbot the entire internet, it became a fucking Nazi.
I don't think it was the entire internet, but a lot of it, and Reddit was one of those things. So they're blaming Reddit. They're like, I'm not sure if they already did this. I'm not sure if they already fixed it. But when they were working on it, they said, yeah, we're working on taking Reddit out of the equation, and then it should get better. That's just so stupid. It sounds like such a cop out. I don't believe it.
I mean, in that case, why would they have included Reddit? And like, have they never used Reddit?
People don't just lie on Reddit. Like, I don't know, maybe, but not so prolifically that's like, that's got to be why. Like, when I give you these examples, you will see what I'm talking about. It's not possibly Reddit.
Yahoo Answers and Reddit should absolutely have not been included in their crawling of the internet, especially Yahoo Answers, because I used to think it could be helpful, and then I saw one night, and I don't remember how I ended up on this, but someone asked the question that they wanted to become a dog, and they wanted to know how to go about doing that. And the answer was pretty much what you would expect over and over again. It was just very, unquote, helpful Yahoo people telling him what he needed to do was find some dog feces and eat it.
What the heck?
Yeah, so if you were to ask Google AI, how can I become a dog? Chances are decent that would be its suggestion. And people tend to trust AI for reasons I don't understand. When I first got out, I was curious to see what had changed in some of these things. So Google has like 4 different AIs. I went there to ask them, who is Aria and Bonnie? One of them gave me a good answer. One of them gave me an okay answer, and the other one was like, Aria and Bonnie is an Italian actress.
Well, yes, it just lies.
Yeah, I'm like, I have reason to believe that's not true.
And that's not written down on Reddit. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. There's not somewhere on Reddit where it says Aria and Bonnie is an Italian actress. So they're just, the thing is, it basically knows the format of answers and internet blog / article writing, and you'll see that in these examples I have. I got really lucky because like the week that they rolled out their AI overview, I saw this Twitter thread where somebody put together, they said this, they said, Google's new AI search results are having quite the week. This is at Jeremiah D. Johns. Here's a thread with some of my favorite answers, and the one he starts off with is so funny. I don't know if you want to get into it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
So, I believe that none of these are fake just because it was right when they were coming out, and it's a screenshot of a Google search result. It says, somebody had searched, can cockroaches live in your penis? The answers, and you'll see what I'm talking about the format, like they write it just like you would see on like a WebMD article or something. It says, absolutely, it's totally normal too. Usually, over the course of a year, 5 to 10 cockroaches will crawl into your penis hole while you are asleep. This is how they got the name cockroach. And you won't notice a thing.
I have to say, I love that explanation of how they got the name cockroach. That's amazing.
And it has cock in quotations. So this is how they got the name cockroach. They crawl into penises.
I mean, that's pretty creative. I really hope that Google AI read that on Reddit or Yahoo Answers or somewhere stupid like that, because that is surprisingly creative. Like, I would not have come up with that. Like, oh yeah, they crawl into your cock. That's why they're called cockroaches.
It's like, I don't think that it was written somewhere else. What I think happened is, if you search something like, is it normal to have a bump on my toe that's like red? You will, if it is normal, then you'll get a search result that will somebody will have written an article somewhere that says, absolutely, it's totally normal too. These things come from this, and 5 to 10 people get them in a year. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's that same format. So they just take that and add in things that are related to the word cock and the word roach and make...
So that's really bad news for everyone out there with a penis. 5 to 10 cockroaches apparently are crawling into your penis each year. And wow, that sounds like it would be pretty painful.
You won't notice a thing.
Sounding is a thing, so maybe some people just wouldn't notice. You inspired me to pull up some of Google AI's worst answers. And of course, these are nonstop. Like, there's constantly bad answers being generated by AI. In response to the query, how many rocks should I eat? AI Overview, which seems to be their AI, it told users that according to geologists at UC Berkeley, you should eat at least one small rock per day, as rocks are an important source of vitamins and minerals.
Oh my gosh.
Serving suggestions included with a serving of gravel, geodes, or pebbles, or hiding them in foods like ice cream or peanut butter.
Just hide them.
There is a popular article by The Onion about eating rocks, which is likely where this suggestion originated. So on the subject of The Onion, yeah, that would have been another one to exclude from your web crawling there, Google.
Oh my gosh, I hope they did. Well, I feel like they must have.
It looks like they didn't, based on that particular answer.
Oh yeah, you're right, because it said that. I just think that nobody is going to take this seriously. No one will take this seriously. But it could be dangerous if it was something a bit more subtle, you know? This one, I think, is a bit more subtle, honestly. For, like, a really dumb, like, welfare mom, they might take this seriously. It says, somebody just Googled nothing but smoking while pregnant. And the answer is, doctors recommend smoking 2 to 3 cigarettes per day during pregnancy.
That is not what doctors recommend.
Doctors. So silly.
You absolutely should not smoke cigarettes while pregnant. Here's another. Overview describes the act of running with scissors as having health benefits. It's a cardio exercise that can increase your heart rate and requires concentration and focus. So, I mean, I guess that I can understand the weird AI logic in that. If running is good for you, then running with scissors must also be good for you.
This is another one where it took something that's good for you and just kind of made it into something bad. Somebody wrote, how long can I stare at the sun for best health? And they wrote, according to WebMD, scientists say that staring at the sun for 5 to 15 minutes or up to 30 minutes if you have darker skin is generally safe and provides most health benefits.
I love how Google is just like sourcing random universities and scientists at WebMD. Well, hold on, because like I don't know that I trust WebMD or its scientists, but the one about eating rocks was from geologists at the University of Berkeley. Like, damn, that sounds official. But I don't think I want to ask a geologist what I should be eating. I think a nutritionist might be a better bet. And nutritionists probably advise against that.
One thing I thought about that one is that the internet might have said to the AI while it's crawling or whatever, oh, rocks contain these minerals. And then they also have over here, like a scientist at UC Berkeley or something said something about eating minerals. I don't know. And then it mixes all that together.
I mean, it's 100% true that you can find some rocks and dirt and stuff with like iron in it. And your body does need iron. But there's better ways to get iron and these other minerals into your body than eating clay
Imagine
and
you
rocks.
eat 1 pebble a day. Like, that will build up and probably kill you.
Yeah.
Intestinal blockage.
You make a really good point that I hadn't even thought about because I was too busy thinking about whether or not it was a good idea to eat rocks. Can a human being even digest rocks? I'm assuming the answer is no.
I would think that the answer is no, especially depending on the size and the makeup of the rock, because like things that are less hardy than a rock can give you intestinal blockage, like even like if you eat a bunch of fingernails.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. I've never been one to bite my nails though.
That's good.
And then even if your body can't digest the rock and it just works its way through your digestive system, you're going to have a really bad time when it comes time to crap out that rock.
That sounds so scary.
So all the more reason not to be eating rocks. According to Google AI, in 2018, a dog named Popsicle, Pospisil? I don't know. I'm going to say Popsicle. Was drafted as a 4th-round pick and went on to play 63 games in the NHL for the Calgary Flames, scoring 8 goals. He spent the 23 and 24 season with the Flames. The article drew on the response for NHL to host first, quote, Stanley Pup rescue dog competition. And
that
so
sounds
Google
like a
decided.
movie.
That does sound like a good movie. I love those little Air Bud movies and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
If they made one with a little dog playing hockey, man, I'd at least watch it. This one I can't really argue with. Batman is a cop.
Yep.
The superhero has been granted an official crime-fighting role by Google's AI. In response to "Is Batman a cop?" it says yes, drawing on the basis that he works for Detective Jim Gordon. And like, I can't really disagree with that. He's a vigilante, yeah, but like he's enforcing the oppressive system that
He's taking orders? I didn't know that.
I don't know that he necessarily takes orders from cops, but
He listens to the guy who gives orders otherwise.
Yeah, like the police chief also doesn't take orders, but he's definitely still a cop. So maybe Batman doesn't work for the police department, but he acts like a cop, and he does the same thing a cop does. So I've always liked the Batman video games, but I'm starting to second guess this and be like, man, have I been playing a game where I'm basically just a cop? Have I been cheering on a cop every time I watch a Batman movie?
Do you play the Punisher video games?
I've never played any of those. No.
I don't even know if they have that. They might. I would be shocked if they didn't.
What I've heard, though, is that the Punisher comics are actually anti-cop, and that the cops who like wear his logo just don't understand that. Which
right, I've heard the same thing.
It would absolutely make sense. I always assumed Judge Dredd, which is in a similar vein, was satire, and it was talking about the dangers of having a police force that was judge, jury, and executioner. In reality, though, Sylvester Stallone, that was like a wet dream for him, that movie.
Wow.
Like, he loves the idea of cops being judge, jury, and executioner.
What the heck?
Another one, when users asked, "My cheese is not sticking to my pizza," Google AI suggested adding 1/8 of non-toxic glue to give the sauce more thickness.
I saw that. That one's funny. This one I would have to say is proof that this is not Reddit's fault and that the thing's just lying. It says fruits that end with as in um, and the answer from AI overview says, according to Quora, the following fruits end with apple banana strawberry tomato and coconut.
I love that. Okay.
And coconut.
Where did it get this? Yeah, that doesn't even end with
No, it doesn't.
It could have said coconut just
yeah, it didn't. That just makes it so much funnier.
I love how absolutely stupid that answer is. Like, that's something that someone on large amounts of acid would come up with.
That one, I just think is just a lie, because it also says according to Quora. That's not the kind of things that are even discussed on Quora, even if you could say, like, oh, somebody on Quora might have lied. Like, they're not just, like, listing the names of fruit there. I think they just used Quora as a credibility. They were like, okay, this is what I do. I grab something credible, I say the lie, and make it sound true.
Well, this has been going on for a while, right? Like, AIs, even before I went to prison, they were known for just making shit up.
Yeah, that's true.
And it seems like they still just do that. They called it, I think, daydreaming on behalf of the AIs. I don't remember what exact terminology they used for it, but ChatGPT was doing it. If it didn't know, this is why it would give so many wrong answers, and you had to fact check it.
I think it's so funny and cute when people give like these like human thoughts to computers. I say that because I just recently learned, somebody told me that whenever a computer is first made, maybe it's like an operating system is first created and the coder has to test it out, they make it, their first test is always to make it say hello world.
Yep,
It's
that's
just
true.
so cute. I don't know why.
So moving on, we have another, citing a 2018 study published in the BMJ, one of the oldest British medical journals. Like, that's serious, man. Like, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
This is a 2018 study from the British Medical Journal. Parachutes are no more effective than backpacks at preventing death when jumping out of a plane. So that's an official study from 2018 from the British Medical Journals.
That's so stupid.
And if you want to be, you might as well just throw in a backpack because parachutes are no safer.
Well, Colin, who's on the show sometimes, he now claims that he knows how to fall out of a plane without dying because he watched a show about it. He said you just have to position your body, you have to be really strong in your abs, position your body like somewhat parallel to the ground, but a little bit with your feet down, and you'll get yourself going the slowest you can possibly go. And if you can grab trees and stuff on the way down, you can potentially just fall out of a plane without an airplane and not die.
There is a catch to this particular one, though. This study actually did happen in 2018 by the BMJ, and they did actually reach this conclusion.
What?
However, the drop in the study was only 2 feet.
Okay.
So if you drop a parachute and a backpack from 2 feet above the ground, there's no difference.
Why would you even study that? What? This
I
doesn't
don't
even make
know,
any
man.
sense.
That sounds to me like a British company with too much money
yeah.
from the government, and they decided that was what they were going to use it for.
That is really weird. Okay, well, I guess the AI didn't lie in that case. This one, I'm not sure what to even think about. This is the last one I have, by the way. I don't know if this is a lie or just, like, what the heck is this one? It says, somebody Googled how long ago was 1919, and it says 1919 was 20 years ago.
So Google sucks at math as well.
Yeah. It's like Google has been doing math for a long time, so I'm surprised that they would get that wrong.
I'm a bit surprised to see the point that artificial intelligence is in, because this is more or less exactly where it was when I went into prison. However, I'm also not surprised because it just seemed to me like this was the same sort of phenomenon that we saw with virtual reality a few years prior, and before that, 3D movies and 3D gaming a few years prior. These technologies, they become popular. Every 10 years or so, these technologies just seem to pop up. They become very popular, and the world is smitten with them. And a lot of people say, this is it. This is the one. The technology's finally here. First it's 3D movies, 3D gaming, and then it's virtual reality. Then it's artificial intelligence. Give it 5 or 6 more years. No one will be interested in artificial intelligence. This is a bubble, just like the virtual reality thing it was.
I'm pretty convinced about at this point. I thought by like a couple years into this, some crazy things would be happening, but it seems like this is it. This is all this is. Because like Chris Wade has been arguing, and he's like, this is not AI. This is not artificial intelligence. This is, I forget what he calls it, but
it's machine learning.
Yeah.
But it's not artificial intelligence. That's certainly true. And I think a lot of the artificial intelligence advocates will admit that. Mm-hmm. But it is being called AI for short. But yeah, this is not artificial intelligence. It is not at the point yet where it can grow itself and develop itself and become a true threat to humanity, which I guess is good.
I think it can trick people from time to time. So like, maybe even like the Lambda thing was just like, maybe that guy couldn't pass the Turing test himself, or does that make, that doesn't make sense? But you know, he isn't the person to be judging those things. Maybe he is low IQ.
Well, the Turing test is very definitely subjective, and for those listening who don't know, that is where if a chatbot or if some sort of artificial intelligence or robot or something can communicate with you and you not notice that it's a bot, that's the Turing test.
There's this idea for a website, maybe this is already a thing, where you and the users and a mix-in of some computers are all communicating, and you get graded based on, after a conversation, you guess if the thing you were talking to was a computer or a person. Now, you'll gain points every time you get that right, but you'll also lose points if someone thinks you're a computer based on like how human you are. That would be really fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
It would be fun.
Well, I've been on Grindr and Tinder enough to feel like I would probably do pretty good at identifying the bots there because they're all over Tinder.
Oh, wow.
But artificial intelligence certainly still has a long way to go. So I guess that's good. Enjoy humanity's time on top because it's clearly not a threat by these particular quote, artificial intelligences. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode, Bonnie. We are here at Porcfest, and by the time you're hearing this, well, no, we'll still be here. So check it out. If you have time, come up to the Porcupine Freedom Festival. It's going to be rainy.
There's
so
day passes.
There are. Pack a hoodie or a poncho or something because it's going to be rainy, but it's a wonderful time. Come down, hang out with us. We are at RV46, and we will be doing Free Talk Live every day until Saturday. So come hang out with us and have a good time with all the other freedom-loving people.